Good morning, everybody.
Hi, David. Good morning.
I guess everybody is you and a note taker, so that's cool.
Yes.
Hey, it's the same guy I saw in the video. That's cool.
Yes, yes.
So, sorry for being so early. I hope that's okay.
No, that's okay. So as it is a little bit early, the team has not get started. So that's why I'm just joining by myself, rather than having the team on the call as well.
no worries. I'm guessing I'm probably a little more detailed and specific than most people, so hopefully that helps get things going swiftly. But
Yes,
uh,
yes, yes.
so,
So you have
but
been very, you have been very meticulous with respect to all of your preferences and the requirements which you have shared yesterday evening as well as later last night with respect to the Tesla model. And I've gone through that just about a few minutes before joining the call. I've also looked in three of my team members who will be doing the market research, inventory availability, and also looking at various options in the market. And as you have outlined on the FSD side, so whenever we are doing the Tesla, we create one column and we list down FSD and figure out whether it's being paid for lifetime or whether it's on a monthly basis or whether it's for an annual basis.
yeah, I love your detail in your spreadsheets. So yeah, because it
Oh,
makes a huge
I'm
difference,
glad to
right?
hear that.
Yeah, no, it's that was one of the main reasons there was so much transparency in your video you did that it was like, okay, these are real people doing real things. It's not just pretending some magic happens, and so and it's because it's hard work doing what you're going to do, and I appreciate it because. I'm a detailed person in that way. And if I know someone's done the thorough, exhaustive search,
Mhm.
then I can make a decision. So, and it may be that we end up convincing ourselves that I should just buy one from Tesla's inventory. It may be that's the best deal, but I challenge you and your team to let's find a better deal. I think there's got to be a better deal out there, but you never know unless we look hard. And I
Yes.
do think Silicon Valley is just my location prices are higher typically.
Correct.
So, but you guys are better experts than I am about what does it cost to ship one, or just is it worth the hassle to bring it in from out of state and deal with that kind of stuff. Uh, you know, so I do value my time too. But it'd be kind of fun in my new car to drive it from somewhere. So Uh, but what can I help you with? I mean, I obviously I I can be giving you lots of feedback along the way. There may be if it's at a dealer somewhere, there may be somebody who wants to get it off their lot by July 31st, and I know that's only like 3 days,
Yeah.
but that's that deal better than I do. But um, car dealerships always try to use that as a motivation to get buyers to buy, but I don't know if it's even true. Are they really lowering their prices, or are they just trying to convince people? But yeah, but there's plenty of people who are plenty of Mercedes and BMW dealerships that probably like to get the pretty Tesla off their lot, so that doesn't distract people. So uh, uh, I guess other little things are just that I try to be clear on the things that aren't critical. But
Mhm.
the 20-inch wheels I like better because it's just more range. Maybe
Mhm.
they're prettier if they're bigger, but it also is more expensive to like replace tires more often if they're bigger wheels or whatever. Um, but if there was exactly everything else and it's 21-inch wheels, or I forget the exact numbers. I think 20 is the base size. Maybe it's 21. Whatever, you get the idea that the smaller
Yes.
wheels gives you.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um, I'm leaning pretty hard towards black, but uh, the blue is kind of pretty, but I'm still wishful thinking. The one that makes it really hard to find is 7 seats, and if it turns out that's just too difficult, or the economics are, gee, you're really going to have to pay like 5,000 more for the 7 seats, and like I could live with 5 seats. But I'd like to know we tried to find the 7 seats. But other than that, there aren't that many options. The yoke steering wheel seems like it's pretty rare anyway, but I could probably learn to drive with the yoke steering wheel if we only found it in that configuration.
Yeah. So some of the vehicles do, especially in the newer model, they have introduced that option.
Yeah. So, but definitely not white. My ex has a white one, and I don't want to be driving a white one.
For sure. Even if someone will offer for free, will not buy it.
You're funny. Yeah. So, yeah, but I hope to be responsive if there's any questions along the way or something that, new information or something. But, and I think I mentioned in one of the messages that I did a lot of test driving and such on Thursday. And, and I could buy a new car if the economic win here doesn't exist, but it sure seems once I priced, the new Tesla it's even gone up like 15,000 since a year ago for the same car. I mean, you could with some incentives, it was maybe 83 or 85,000 for what I wanted. Well, but then plus sales tax plus this. I mean, the price of a brand new Tesla now though is like crap. It's like 112 or something, 110. It's way up there, and I don't mind driving a 3-year-old car. I mean, so my current car is a 20-year-old BMW X5, and I love it. So.
Oh wow! Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it's just that it's at the point where I'm pretty good at keeping a car, working, but BMW's all sorts of little things start to break, and at some point it's like, okay, this is too much.
Yeah.
But the engine's amazing. And on that topic, I mean, dealers typically offer like, oh, we'll give you $500 for that BMW. And I'm like, yeah, right. I just spent more than that for the tires, but they don't care. But if you're negotiating with a dealer and they would, for some reason, value the BMW X5 at a real value for a trade-in, maybe I would trade it in. But I don't know if it's worth paying you guys $500 to trade in a car that's only worth $500 or but
so that's a very good point. So we do trade in at no cost, which is complimentary if your car value is less than $3,000.
It's definitely worth less than $3,000.
Correct. So I'm not going to come to David and say, hey, now in order for us for you to get $500, hey, by the way, pay additional $500 to us, because you're not getting the value for money. So we are very conscious on only requesting those fees where you are saving the time, you're getting the convenience, which is an important element, but also there is a tangible cost savings associated with the entire engagement process.
Well, I appreciate that. So I guess my view on that was that let's see how great a price we could get before mentioning the trade-in.
Yeah.
And then see how much better it gets with the trade-in, because sometimes people they kind of trick you with, oh, I'll give you $1,500 for that BMW, but then their price is crap. And, I'd rather, a mechanic I know, he was like, you can sell this a mechanic special for a much higher price if you're willing to just, deal with the hassle. Because the right person who likes to fix all these broken little things on a BMW would love this vehicle. The engine's awesome. But I don't know if I want to waste the time on, dealing with 50 people asking me questions about my car. It's
and also there is always a risk, right, that some random person will come to do a test drive or to check out the vehicle, and then if you give it out for a spin, and God forbid, but if they hit it somewhere, now you have a total loss, whereas your vehicle not worth anything, right?
I wonder what the insurance company would give me for a total loss of that car.
Nothing. Yes.
You can show them the receipt for the tires. I just bought those, but that was one thing I need to. It was about 6 months ago. I was like, okay, keep this thing safe. It does need new tires,
Right.
um, but but what else could I do to help? I mean, I guess I know the hardest work is contacting individuals who put up stuff on Craigslist or Facebook or these individual postings. That's probably harder work than dealing with dealers, but um, it does seem maybe we get lucky. People tend to put up a high price, but if it hasn't sold for 60 days, pretty good indication that maybe they would negotiate. And you're the expert. I really don't know. So obviously I have a 20-year-old car. I don't buy cars very often. So actually, I got this for a deal though. I got it with 78,000 miles on it when it was about 10 years old for only $9,000. It was in incredible condition. The inspection guy was like, "Wow, this is the first X5 I've ever looked at that's not leaking." So that was in the 10-year-old kind of time. So and it's been a good car, but it's time to move on. I don't even have a rear view camera. So.
You'll get a new camera. We'll look at your preferred York steering wheel. Also, it will have a lot of safety features compared to your current Beamer. So it's good time for an upgrade. And I believe that you are very, very conscious with respect to what there has to be a right, I would say, valuation and mapping between miles and price of the vehicle. So as a part of our engagement process, we reflect and review that. So we are not just simply taking the lowest priced vehicle in the market and thinking it's the best deal. But if it has a lot of miles on the one, then we have to do a mathematical equation, and I'll share it on the screen in the next few minutes. But by doing that, we are able to absolutely mathematically find which vehicle to purchase.
Yeah, I love that analysis you do. It's always a little complicated because this one might have the 7 seats, this one might have the 5 seats, but I get it.
So when we do the comparison, we do apples to apples comparison, because if you do like apple to oranges, then your entire equation gets thrown out of the window. So first and foremost, what we do is we'll look at only those vehicles which are black and blue exterior, with the alloy wheels which you talked about, 7 seats as well, preferably the FSD aspect, as well as the York steering wheel. And then let's say 12, 15, 20 vehicle options which we are able to curate, which is meeting all these requirements. Then only we compare it.
So thank you. Preference actually is the regular steering wheel, but I was just saying I could drive the yoke steering wheel if that's what you end up finding. So
okay. So your first preference is the regular steering wheel. Okay.
Yeah. But I wouldn't eliminate it as I think we're going to not find that many cars that fit all these criteria. So
yes.
I have to be flexible on some of these things, but usually people paid more for the yoke one anyway, so it should work out better for me if we find one that's a normal steering wheel. So what else could I do to make your job easier?
So David, first of all, I thank you so much for providing all the details. So I've received your details yesterday on multiple platforms, including via email, client requirement form, text message, and then some email thread conversation. So as a part of our business working hours, we have a daily stand-up internally with my team right after your call here, and then also in the evening. So I'll walk them through all the specification, all the outline what you have shared with me. We'll loop them into the right email threads and forward all the information to them. They will initiate the market research, and in the next 24 to 48 hours, we'll share a very first high level overview as to what are the options we are seeing in the market. As you have clearly said that you are very open to even like fly down or look into another states. So we'll not just limit our search to like 30 miles, 50 miles or 100-mile radius, whereas we'll expand it to 1,000 miles or even 2,000 miles. and see what is trending, because I acknowledge and I concur and I agree with you that the prices of Tesla in California, especially even new ones or the pre-owned ones, are higher as compared to the other states in the country. And the only reason is it's so much in demand in California as compared to other places. However, we have to keep a note that there are a lot of dealerships who are hesitant to sell Teslas to people residing in California or vice versa.
Oh,
So,
really? Huh.
yeah, there is always that internal geopolitical aspect where the dealerships in California are not open to sell to any residents in Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada. I'm based in Phoenix, Arizona. So we always face that struggle. And vice versa. I have a lot of my friends up in Silicon Valley, up in Hollywood, Los Angeles, and San Diego. And if they find a lower priced vehicle in New Mexico or in Nashville, Tennessee, or in Ohio, but then when we give them a ID, which is a driver license or any other government issued ID, and when they see California, they are like, okay, I'll sell it anywhere else, but not to California. So we get that
Really?
clarification upfront before even we begin the negotiation process.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. I would never have guessed. I would think they just would love to have more buyers who
Correct.
would actually want to take it off their hands. But
It's
interesting.
only for
Uh,
one state, California. The remaining 49 states, there is not a no issues at all.
interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder why that is. Yeah. So I'm under the impression that I would pay the sales tax for Texas, but then I have to pay like a little extra sales tax when I move it into California. I think that's how I've understood that it's worked.
So it's two ways. So if you take, let's say, hypothetically, we find a vehicle in Utah, right? So if you are flying to Utah and then if you're going to drive it back to California, you will pay full 10% California tax because the vehicle will be driven on the road. But let's say if you're not flying down there and we get a shipping company, a logistics carrier to move the vehicle from Utah to California, then to the Utah dealership, I mean, you are paying 0% tax. But the moment your Tesla will touch the ground in California, you will have to take it to DMV and pay that 10% tax.
yeah, there's no avoiding it. It's just the yeah. Yeah.
I've
So
so
well,
many people who will reach out to me, call me, email us, text us. Hey, I've heard Montana has 0% tax. I want to buy the car there. And I'm like, yes.
well, I'll
I'll
let you
tell
in on a
them,
secret.
yes, please
Go,
go ahead.
oh well, I just my X5. I bought it in Colorado, and then I got it plated in Texas, and it was there for a while. But then I left it in the garage in Colorado. It was my snowboard kind of mountain car because it was you're renting an SUV at Beaver Creek Vale for a week is insane. The price, and it needs 4-wheel drive, and you want to be able to put a lot of people in it. Uh, so, but then it was in Texas again. I brought it here thinking I would sell it 7 years ago, and
Wow.
I've somehow gotten away with it. Still has Texas plates on it, and it's pretty risky because California, it's really clear. The punishment is pretty severe.
Yeah.
30 days, So it is actually another issue with selling it even here is that
Yeah.
you're supposed to, dealerships are supposed to only sell things that have California plates on it. But individuals, if somebody gave me $1,000 for it, and he knows he's got to deal with the fact that it's got Texas plates. But I could lose the sale also afterwards. They could get me in trouble, and they could say, "Oh, you didn't, I didn't know it had Texas plates." Like, of course I would tell them, um, but anyway, it even could be an issue if it was getting traded in. Even someone might say that's a reason we're not going to give you as much money as it's not plated in California. So, but I've gotten away with it somehow. I shouldn't have, but it's
You are
so
lucky. Yes.
yeah, no, because if I got a ticket, it would get impounded. I would get several years of fees, interest on the fees, penalties. It would be bad. But I couldn't. it has an oxygen sensor that needs to be repaired for $1,400, and without repairing that, you can't get it registered. So without it being registered, I can't get a California plate. The engine works great. It's just the little oxygen sensor would make the engine work a little bit better, but it's
okay. And why TMV is saying that you have to fix it? Because the value of the car itself is not $1,400 based on what you are sharing with me. Then it doesn't make sense for us to spend that much money just to get it.
no, that's why I haven't fixed it. I mean, so I have a rational reason why it doesn't have a California plate, but California doesn't care, right? I'm not supposed to be driving for more than 30 days, a vehicle. So the first couple of years, I didn't think it was a big deal because I traveled back to Texas a bit. But now it's pretty clear that it lives here. So it's another reason to get this done. And, the real reason to get this done is I just want to get it done. It takes time and effort to engage, and takes your time and effort. I'm sure you'd rather get it done swiftly as well. And I doubt after 48 hours that your team and you are going to think we're going to find a ton more if we spend another 3 weeks. I mean, there's always a chance that something pops up for cheaper. But
it's not that we'll finish it in 48 hours. It's the initial, the 10 to 15 inventory options which we'll share with you just to get your tailored feedback. So it's not that we do it once and it works out, right? There is an iterative process. And on that note, let me just show you one of the clients where we have done it for Tesla. So you can have a quick review on that. And it's a week-long process. Even beyond that, sometimes even more and more days goes by. So this is one of our clients. Let me take it over here. So very, very similar to what you are looking for. That's why I'm trying to share something very closer to what you have and what you're looking for. So he was looking for Tesla Model X and Model Y, again in California. This were the trim levels, the colors, the miles driven. FSD, this is absolute must for him as well. And a drivetrain, color preferences, zip code across the USA, and also need connector, budget within 3 months. That was what he was looking for. And now you look at how many options which we have found for him.
Yeah, I remember this was the spreadsheet you showed in the YouTube video. I remember looking.
Oh, is it? Okay. So I've shown the Tesla.
I clicked pause. So I remember seeing some of these exact things. But this is the kind of work that I liked seeing, that you guys dug in and found a bunch of great selections.
Okay. So same thing. We'll also do it for FSD. So you can see that we have a dedicated column as FSD capability. For the ones where we have written can be upgraded, that means it was an additional cost to it. But then if you see here, this got sold by the time we were negotiating. But here FSD is included, right? So then we don't have to pay out of our pocket. So just like that, we'll take a very detailed note in terms of identifying whether it is there or not there. And then again, the client preference evolved. So then we'll write does not match, no, subscription based, FSD included, awaiting. And then this was kind of up in the air because he went for a 2 months long break, being a physician, and then decided to take a pause. And it's been 8 months and he has not come back to us. So this is like a work in progress document.
Oh, this one, he never actually bought one of the cars, huh? Too bad.
Yeah, too bad. So and so as a concierge, we never ever, unlike dealership, will ask you to purchase it. If you feel that there is enough market research, we work as per your timeline, as per your preferences. Our objective is to provide you a very clear and a sound advice and suggestions. You take the final call.
Appreciate that. It's obviously that day I spent test driving on Thursday. I was at Lucid was the best. That was the most fun. The new Gravity was pretty cool.
Yeah, the Gravity. Yeah.
the Lucid Gravity. And then I was at Porsche, Audi, Cadillac, Mercedes. I know I'm skipping one, and Tesla.
And Tesla.
And I timed the Tesla, so I showed up right when they were closing. So let me keep the car overnight. That was awesome. So at midnight, I could be driving in insane mode on the highway.
Oh, wow.
It was. I mean, they have a speed limiter at 85 miles per hour, but the entrance and exit ramps is where it's so fun, right? When you go stop on the entrance ramp on a curve and then floor it and like woohoo! But yeah, it was really fun. But I'm mentioning all that because the only thing that, and this is a breakthrough for me on Thursday. That's why thought it was time to reach out to you. Is that it was pretty dead obvious that the Model X is my preference. And because of the FSD, obviously I can buy it monthly afterwards. I don't have to buy it. It doesn't have to be part of the car. I just feel like there should be an economic win for me if somebody already overpaid for it. So there might be somebody who says I paid $8,000, therefore I'm never selling this unless I get all my $8,000 back. Well, then he's probably not going to sell it. But the only thing that I will keep doing, I will reach out to the Lucid guys again, just in case they can get a black one sooner. But they can't. They've got green ones that I could buy today, but and the new price is just insane. So, and they're just launching their assisted drive feature for the Lucid Air is just launching, I think July 31st. So not only would I be getting a brand new model, the Gravity, that has none of the bugs worked out, you'd be getting a brand new assisted drive with none of the bugs worked out. I mean, it's just, and it's a beautiful car, but I don't really want to pay. I mean, all in with sales tax and everything, it might be $120,000, or maybe it's 110. Sure. I mean, it's similar to buying an all new Model X, and I'd have to wait to get the black one that I want. So I mentioned that to you just for full disclosure. I can't imagine I'm going to pull the trigger on that, and they're not going to call me and say, "Hey, how about for $80,000 and we'll get you a black one tomorrow?" They're not going to say that. So, and it does look like the sweet spot on the X is this HW4, which came out in 2023. So not all the 2023s have it. I haven't seen what month or how. You have to just ask on every single 2023. Pretty sure that all the 2024s have it, but the 2023, it's not a given that the 2023 will have it. And people probably are more wanting to ditch their 2023s that didn't have HW4. Maybe they'd want to keep it. Although I think a lot of people are clueless. They don't know the difference because they don't care about. Yes. Yeah, most people don't seem to care about the full self-drive, but I've got a 4-year-old daughter who likes to sit in that middle seat. That's why I don't want the 6-seater, is that it's safest for her to be in the middle back seat, and she likes it because she can see out better. So that's why it's got to be the 5 or the 7-seater.